In a quaint little village, there lived an old man named Mark. Mark was known not only for his kind heart, but for the quiet wisdom he shared with those around him. Though he lived alone, his life was rich with the company of his neighbors, who often visited him. They sought his advice and brought him small gifts of food and supplies, ensuring he was never in need. Mark had built his life on contentment, always offering help to others without expecting anything in return. His happiness came from a simple truth. He found peace in the world just as it was, grateful for whatever life offered. One chilly autumn morning, as the fog lightly veiled the village, Mark decided to venture into the nearby forest. The trees, bathed in the soft light of dawn, seemed to whisper their secrets. He wanted to gather wood for his fireplace, knowing the cold nights ahead would bite with the coming winter. As he wandered deeper into the forest, Mark stumbled upon something unexpected. A large old pot, partially buried in the damp earth. Curiosity sparked in him as he brushed off the dirt and gently pried open the pot. Inside, to his astonishment, glittering gold coins shimmered in the morning light. Mark's heart raced. Thoughts of a new life filled with comfort and ease flooding his mind. He could picture it clearly. A grand house, warm fireplaces, and no more days of worry. He could finally live without relying on anyone. Yet as those thoughts of grandeur washed over him, something tugged at the back of his mind, a subtle discomfort, as if the dreams of wealth came with an unseen cost. Determined to bring the pot back to his home, Mark fashioned a makeshift slide from some wooden planks nearby. With careful hands, he tied a sturdy cloth around the heavy pot and began the slow journey home. As he dragged it along the forest floor, something strange began to happen. The gold inside the pot started to lose its luster. When he paused to catch his breath and peered inside, the gold had turned to silver. A pang of disappointment gripped Mark's heart, but he quickly reassured himself. "Silver is still valuable," he whispered, trying to ease the unease creeping into his mind. He could still live comfortably, couldn't he? And so he continued his journey, though a shadow of doubt followed him. But as Mark dragged the pot further along the rugged path, the silver too began to change. When he stopped again, the silver had turned into dull, heavy iron. This time, despair settled over him like a cold fog. The dreams he had held just moments before vanished like mist in the sun. His vision of a grand life faded, replaced by a bitter sense of loss. He had worked so hard to reach this point, only to see his efforts turn to nothing. But then, standing there in the quiet forest, Mark felt something deeper stir within him. He took a deep breath and let the cool air fill his lungs. Slowly, a smile formed on his face. He remembered the life he had before finding the pot. A life filled with the love of his neighbors, the joy of helping others, and the quiet peace of a humble home. It dawned on him that his happiness had never come from wealth or grand dreams. His true wealth was in the connections he had built with others, the moments of shared kindness, and the deep sense of gratitude he carried with him every day. Mark gently let go of the pot, leaving it behind in the forest. He walked back to his village, his heart lighter with each step. That evening, as he sat by the warm fire in his old but familiar chair, he felt a deep contentment settle over him. The room was simple, the fire modest, but his heart was full. Mark had learned a valuable lesson that day. True happiness does not come from chasing what we lack, but in appreciating what we already have. From that day on, Mark lived just as he had before, helping his neighbors, sharing his wisdom, and receiving their love in return. He found strength in patience, joy in gratitude, and peace in his humble existence. And so, Mark proved that true happiness is not in the gold we find, but in the richness of our spirit. In every situation, no matter how difficult, he chose to be content, knowing that real wealth lies within.